Tonight on News 5 Live, 4-year-old special needs child perishes in early morning inferno in Belize City. A sizable haul of illegal drugs is confiscated in Borough Boom. And Immigration CEO answers questions on the passport backlog, amnesty program, and human trafficking. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
The Belize Tourism Board presents the Belize International Music and Food Festival, Savor the Rhythm, Pre-Festival Tour, Punta Gorda. The Belize International Music and Food Festival, Savor the Rhythm, Pre-Festival Tour, Punta Gorda goes down Saturday, June 17th from 7 p.m. to midnight at the George Price Welcome Plaza. There's going to be cash prizes and a professional music studio recording session to be awarded. Don't miss out on the after party with the New Edition Band with free entrance all night long. The Belize Tourism Board's Belize International Music and Food Festival 2.0, Savor the Rhythm, Pre-Festival Tour, Punta Gorda. Don't miss it. Sponsored by Smart, Coca-Cola, Delegation, the Punta Gorda Town Council, Digi Wallet, the Angeles Press Limited, Travelers Liquors.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Wednesday, June 14th. I am Sabrina Daly. We begin tonight's newscast with the tragic death of a 4-year-old special needs child who lost her life in a fire this morning in Belize City. A fire broke out around 4 a.m. while the family slept inside their Sarstoon Street home. It spread quickly and consumed the upper flat of the 2-story structure. Several attempts were made to save the child, who was trapped inside the burning building. After extinguishing the blaze, firefighters reportedly discovered the charred remains of Kaylee Flores under the bed. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
The raging fire captured in this amateur video was shortly after 4 o'clock this morning before firefighters arrived on the scene, and after all but one person sleeping inside the building was able to escape. It was the home of Fabio Paredes, who was reportedly sleeping next door when the fire broke.
I rush out and I look left and I look right. When I look right, I see the big blaze of fire. That when I rush downstairs and I grab a bucket with water and I run upstairs back and I try to dash it that door for take out my niece because he tell me my niece inside. So I try rush to go there, go try help. Meanwhile, I do that, I bawl out to everybody to make them evacuate. You understand me? And after that, I make 5 attempts inside of the house. 5 attempts to try save the baby.
Inside of the room for try saving.
5 attempts. I come back, and they didn't have on no shirt. Only a pants, never even boxers. Only a pants to try save the little baby. And I couldn't, I wasn't successful to save my little niece. It touched me a lot because I partly raised her with my mother. My mother deceased. My father deceased years ago, before my mother. And we raised that child. I love my niece. And I mind her to the fullest. And I promised my brother I always keep her safe. But I couldn't save her for this fire. And I wish my brother could hear me out. I know that I try my best to save the daughter. I try. And I just want to know that I did for you, brother, and I tried.
4-year-old Kaylee Flores died inside a room at the front of the house. Her mother had dropped her off on Tuesday for an overnight. Paredes and some friends were reportedly socializing that night and went to sleep just around 3 o'clock, an hour before the fire broke. Paredes' 13-year-old sister was sleeping in the room with the child. He tells News 5 that Kaylee was born with jaundice. She could not walk and was living with a disability. After the fire was extinguished, her charred remains were discovered by firefighters under the bed inside the room.
My sister in a room, he said that, he pick up the baby and the baby bite her. And he try fight for open the door at the same time, so he released the baby, I pick her up again and he bite her, you understand me? And then when eventually he run out because the fire don't catch on the sheet and the bed, so he run out. And when I get up and I go check, I never hear a scream, nothing. So I try eventually to attempt to go in the room, but too much blaze, too much fire. So I go in at the car, because the smoke, I go in at the lungs, I come outside for rush in back, you know. The third attempt when I make a notice that my son and my wife not come out of the house. So I rush in back to try to save them, you know. And when I gone in back, I see a time I meet them, they come out and help me down the step, and I rush in back again. When I reach in at the hallway the 5th time, all I see that just smoke. And they choke me and the next 2 guys. And after that, all I see alone fire after that. And even can't see what couch, what TV, nothing. So I couldn't save nothing.
Paredes confirms that 10 persons were inside the house, including 3 minors. The National Fire Service says that the fire originated from the bedroom that the little girl was in.
We can say that the fire originated from the child's bedroom and then spread backward to the bathroom, which would represent the front of the house. And after that, it spread up and out and consumed the balance of the building. It wasn't until probably between 5 to 7 minutes in trying to extinguish this fire that we were alerted that somebody might have been in the building. By then, it was way too late for us to try to conduct any form of internal firefighting, as the entire upper of the structure had already been gutted and the debris were now falling on the 2nd floor or the ground floor of this building.
Tidra Brakeman is from La Democracia village but stays here during the week for school. She is a 3rd form student at Excelsior High School. It is review week, but all her school uniforms, books and other items were destroyed in the blaze. She gives an account of what happened.
The 13-year-old, she get up and she bang and she had a piece of fire. So I jump up, and when I jump up, she start bang past the door, my brother get up. And when the brother get up, same time she went thing, I asked her where the baby. He said baby in a room. I said, oh my God. And then when I look, fire done, they pile up in a room. I can't say what? She can't say run in, run out. Nope. Because myself, I get burned out. Everything gone. And I'm figuring at school today because I have some reviews we have to do.
What started the fire is unknown, but Station Supervisor Kenneth Mortis says that they have been able to rule out several possible causes and believes that those inside the house are not forthcoming with information.
Our electrician, which is a part of the fire department, certified by PUC, electrical flaw was ruled out. We confirmed that there was no cooking at that time, so we cannot say that it was a store left unattended. We checked the area thoroughly. we couldn't find anything to support, even if the neighbors or family members would want to allege to a malicious act. We didn't detect any of those on the scene. We didn't detect any foreign substance. Hence the reason I says, due to the credibility of the information received from the scene, it is showing a wrench in trying to determine the exact cause as to the fire. I know there's something bigger than what is coming from the fire scene, but due to lack of proper cooperation from the families affected, I believe that at the end of today, if we cannot directly determine the cause, this will leave a stump in the investigation.
The house was completely destroyed by fire and was uninsured. The total value of the damages is yet to be determined. Paredes says that anyone wanting to assist can contact him at KBH Security. Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Was there negligence in the death of 4-year-old Kaylee Flores? Social media has been buzzing, and even at the scene of the fire, the question of who is ultimately responsible for the tragedy came up. Station supervisor at the National Fire Service, Kenneth Mortiz, says that outside of a dialogue with a police investigator, there may be need for intervention by the Human Services Department in cases like these. Mortiz says that preventative measures must be looked at.
I've sat with the representative from the police department and I've shared with them my findings, and we kind of like exchange notes, so to speak. These kind of happenings are somewhat regular, whereby adults leave kids watching kids. Am I to say that the parent is to blame? That is not for me to say. Am I to say the 20-year-old is to blame? You know, we're not here to do the blame game, so to speak. It would be probably best if human development can weigh in on this matter, especially the fact of a child's life being lost. Where do we go from here in terms of trying to best lay the foundation in terms of how to go about our daily lives whereby minors are involved, especially of this nature, the 4-year-old having a medical challenge, so to speak? You know, it's something that we need to look at carefully and see what is in place to not just quickly say who's to blame, but see what is in place to prevent further happenings from happening. Regardless of how it happened, a fire occurred, a life was lost, and now we need to see where we go from there. What preventative measures can we put in place?
A sizable quantity of an assortment of illegal drugs, including cannabis, cocaine, crack cocaine, and heroin, was confiscated during an operation in Borlboom Village on Tuesday evening. Law enforcement officers conducted a search in a bushy area where they found 66 parcels of suspected cannabis. An additional search of the area yielded 12 transparent plastic bags containing suspected cocaine and 3 transparent plastic bags containing suspected heroin. The items were weighed separately, and the suspected cannabis amounted to 156.5 pounds. The cocaine came up to 42.4 grams, while the crack cocaine and heroin amounted to 124.8 grams and 52.2 grams, respectively. The quantity was secured and deposited as found property. Coming up, government employees with credit union accounts won't receive salaries until next Monday. Find out the details of these stories when we come back.
Where is Minister of the Blue Economy André Perez, now that Portico plans to build an artificial peninsula on Belize's coast, just a few miles north of a protected area? Where is Dolores Balderramos, area rep for Gales Point, when thousands of acres of mangroves will be cut down, millions of cubic feet of sediment will be dredged, and an entire artificial peninsula added to Belize? All of this when they would not even allow Vulcan Mining to build a single dock. Where is Orlando Habet, Minister of Sustainable Development, when Portico plans to build an entire docking facility for Oasis-class cruise ships in a Manatee corridor? How is that sustainable, Minister?
Every day, we access energy for cooling, lighting, and powering our electrical appliances and devices at work and at home. During cooler months, we rely less on cooling appliances such as fans and air conditioners. However, during warmer months, as the temperature and humidity rises, we use more energy to cool our spaces, and our appliances and electrical devices work harder than they do during the rest of the year. When the months become hotter, let's all practice energy conservation. Here are a few changes that you can make to manage your energy use. Check that all appliances and electrical devices are working efficiently. Turn lights off when not in the room. Unplug chargers, appliances when not in use. Turn off fans and TVs. Use energy-saving light bulbs such as LEDs. And look for the Energy Star products when purchasing appliances and electrical devices. These easy changes can reduce energy use and costs. You can also monitor your energy use during the month by reading your meter and calculating the reading using BEL's bill calculator on our mobile app or by visiting our website. Let's all save energy.
It seems like every other day, we hear of a family member or friend being diagnosed with a serious illness such as cancer, heart attack, kidney failure, or stroke. When these illnesses strike, you want to focus on recovery and your overall well-being. At RFG Life Insurance, we offer critical illness insurance to help with medical expenses when diagnosed with such critical illnesses, providing security to access quality healthcare facilities and to ease the worry about finances. In case you are diagnosed with a life-threatening illness that is covered by the policy, critical illness insurance pays you a lump sum amount to help you obtain access to quality treatment and medication. Having critical illness insurance provides the financial support that will bring you and your family the security and peace of mind necessary to manage these illnesses. The possibility of being diagnosed can be worrying, but by having a critical illness plan, you could have funds to assist with expenses such as medications, hospital deductibles, childcare, household expenses, and so much more. The right time to plan for the unexpected is when you're healthy. For more information, visit our office today to speak with one of our experienced agents about critical illness insurance. Your health and wellness is what matters most. Take care of it.
HRCU is thrilled to announce the launch of our new online banking services designed to put you in control of your financial future. To take advantage of our new services, you will need to know your updated 16-digit account number. You'll enjoy 24/7 access to your accounts, send and receive payments to other credit unions and banks effortlessly, pay your bills online with ease. Need to make a loan payment? Done from the comfort of your own home. Have your government benefits deposited directly into your account, hassle-free. Applying for a loan? Easy. Apply online with just a few clicks. And don't worry, we'll be here to guide you through the transition every step of the way. Visit hrcubelize.org for more details on our exciting new online banking services. HRCU, making a difference in people's lives.
Chummy, the only you nurse shot. I may think that a mighty Category 5 Benny's Belize Hurricane.
I just hear that name and I shudder.
Benny's Belize Hurricanes.
Ooh, do it again.
Hurricanes, hurricanes, hurricanes.
Hey, shut up,
Let's go. This is what the entire basketball world and the Belize District have been waiting for. The grand finale. Game 1 of this much anticipated 5-game series is all going down this Thursday, June 15 at the Belize Civic Center. Beginning at 8:30 p.m. sharp. Take note. featuring the #1 team in the land, going to their unprecedented third straight finals. Benny's Belize Hurricanes. Their opponent, the BEBL's #4 seeded team, the San Pedro Tiger Sharks. In a battle dubbed as Little Baby Sharks is scared of the Hurricanes. It's gonna be ginormous and humongous when your 2-time semi-pro champions, Benny's Belize Hurricanes, led by Glency Cooper Lopez, Victor Vito Evans, Kirk Shabba Smith Jr., Chris Fraser, Jamel Harris, and the legend, Alex Carcamo, versus the 3-time semi-pro champion, San Pedro Tiger Sharks, who will answer with Francis Naitiarana and Jihad Wright. The Hurricane Breeze will be kicking up a storm as we honor our legend, Alex the Legend Carcamo.
There's a natural mystic flowing through the air.
The halftime show will showcase the sizzling hot RT, dropping the Hurricanes anthem.
One team, one big family.
Plus mega cash, big screen TVs and cell phones from Benny's Cellular World and Smart. Remember this Thursday, June 15, 8:30 p.m. Belize Civic Center.
Hurricanes are one big family.
The after party will be at Thirsty Thursdays, sponsored.
Yo, respect the city, love the game. Family, Belize Hurricanes. Hurricanes are one big family.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Well, I can't believe the grill pan is whole, the grill. Well, don't worry about nothing. We got a new one and the Benny's Father's Day Fest.
So that they happen again?
Yes, and this year,
Benny's is giving 19% off store-wide. Yes, 19% off everything.
Boy, we have for that, bro.
But wait, don't forget, the race is still on.
The Benny's 100-car race. The racers will once again compete to claim the top prize and become the champion.
Anyways, look on the time. If you have a grill, I need to go.
Alright, yeah, bro. New whip?
Push the start.
Alright, big time.
Boy, Kagali push the start, man.
The Benny's Father's Day Fest, Saturday, June 17th, Benny's Superstore. This one you don't want to miss.
Bye. Why long time to try call you?
Meet Alex.
Where they go on, man?
Alex signed up for a Digi One premium bundle. He's loving it. With his free mobile plan, Alex can talk and surf on the go as much as he wants. Topping up and buying data is a thing of the past. Alex now has Digi TV. He enjoys all his games and his favorite shows, no matter if he's on the go or at home. And Alex also enjoys the fastest, most reliable home internet speeds with his DigiNet service. He is living his best life. Alex bundled. Alex is saving $70 monthly compared to purchasing these services from the other providers. Be like Alex. Sign up for your Digi One bundle package today. Digi One. One bundle, no hassle, exceptional value.
Every year, World Environment Day is celebrated on June 5, and the Department of the Environment within the Ministry of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management joins the nation of Belize and other United Nations member countries in worldwide awareness and action to protect our environment, with this year's theme being to beat plastic pollution. We have seen the effects of climate change, now exacerbated by the effects of plastic pollution, primarily from single-use plastics. The Ministry, through the auspices of the Department of the Environment, has enacted the pollution from plastics regulation in 2020, noting that single-use plastics is of high environmental concern. This regulation sought to curb the environmental impacts associated with single-use plastics and to better promote green alternatives, which resulted in the development of national standards for biodegradable products.
The government of Belize, through the Department of Environment, has been controlling and enforcing these regulations to ensure that we protect Belize from the threats of plastic pollution. In so doing, nationwide market surveillance and product sampling has been conducted, resulting in enforcement actions which includes sale prohibition and confiscation of single-use plastics and styrofoam. The detrimental environmental impacts of single-use plastics are everyone's concern. The government calls upon all businesses, industries, civil societies, NGOs, and you, the citizens of Belize, to have civic pride and to help in the fight against plastic pollution and to further contribute to the national efforts in transitioning to a circular economy. Together, we can beat plastic pollution. Happy World Environment Day.
Public officers who receive their salaries through their respective credit unions will not be able to access those funds until next Monday, June 19th. This is as a result of the government's payment system, which integrates all credit unions on the Automated Payment and Securities Settlement System, APS. That system, which came into effect on Monday, is expected to enhance the flow of payments among banks and credit unions, allowing credit union members increased access to financial services. Through the system, all banks and now credit unions will be connected, enabling their customers to make electronic payments anywhere in Belize. With the new integration, credit union members will be able to send and receive payments directly to and from bank customers. And the same will be possible for bank customers wanting to send and receive payments directly to and from credit union members. While the country's 8 credit unions will be connected to the system, the first 3 that will enjoy that convenience are Holy Redeemer Credit Union Limited, St. Francis Xavier Credit Union Limited, and St. Martin's Credit Union Limited. Credit union members who transact in payments to and from banks are encouraged to contact their credit union for details on how the new feature operates. The new system forms part of the central bank's effort to increase access to financial services for everyone, noting that there are more than 150,000 credit union members registered in Belize. The change to the new system, however, has come with some delay for those credit union members who will have to pass the weekend without their salaries. As many as 16 requests have been made to various government departments on behalf of Waterloo Investment Holdings Limited under the Freedom of Information Act. Those requests for access to documents pertaining to the proposed cruise port terminal and cargo expansion project date back to December 23, 2022, with a letter being sent to Minister of Sustainable Development Orlando Habet. Subsequent letters were sent to Cabinet Secretary Stuart Leslie, Chief Executive Officer Kenrick Williams, Prime Minister John Briceño, Financial Secretary Joseph Waite, CEO Narda Garcia, and CEO Osman Martinez. The most recent request was sent to Prime Minister John Briceño a few weeks ago, on May 18th. On that day, PM Briceño was asked for a copy of the definitive agreement signed between Portico and former UDP Minister of Economic Development, Erwin Contreras. That letter goes on to state, quote, "We reiterate our client's request that it be provided with a copy of the agreement. Perhaps more concerning, however, is our information that your government intends very shortly to table legislation giving effect to the provisions of the secret, much maligned and discredited definitive agreement. Our instructions are that if your government persists in what would be a patently wrong-headed and abusive process to favor and advantage its preferred developer without any regard for transparency and accountability, we are to immediately launch judicial review proceedings to challenge the propriety of such legislation and government action," end quote. Is opposition leader Shine Barrow singing for his supper by echoing similar positions to those of Waterloo in respect of the definitive agreement? It's a question that was asked of the UDP party leader on Tuesday when he sat down with the media. Here's how he responded to that question.
Are you getting anything out of this advocacy that you are doing against the Portico project? A lot of what you're saying sounds a lot like what is contained in the letters from the Ashcroft Alliance against the Portico project.
Well, Mr. Finstein is saying the same thing that Mr. Ashcroft is saying. Mr. Finstein is taking the government to court as we speak. Are you not aware of that? I'm asking.
Have written a letter
threatening legal action. So they're threatening. Why are they threatening legal action? Because of this Portico. Exactly, because of Portico. And in this interview, I have sung the praises of Mr. Finstein, and I have described the possibilities of Waterloo. I am consistent. Ma'am, please, you're questioning me now, right? You've gone from the Prime Minister. I have been consistent. I have always supported Waterloo. My position is that may the best port project win, which is what the Prime Minister initially said. I have gone on record to say that I thought that Waterloo was the best port project. I have a right to that opinion.
On Monday, Shine Barrow wrote to CEO Jason Liberty of the Royal Caribbean Group regarding the scandalous definitive agreement, as well as the memorandum of understanding the company has entered into with Boskalis and Portico. During the interview on Tuesday, he was also asked about a response from Royal Caribbean and whether a letter from CEO Liberty is forthcoming.
Then you have Mike Finstein, who is a renowned tourism stakeholder, has spent tens of millions of dollars in developing tourism projects, in particular the recent State Bank development, has a definitive agreement with the government of Belize since 2017, had a causeway approval that the now government is disputing. Then you look at Waterloo, again, a port that is in existence. A group, the Waterloo Group, affiliated with Lord Ashcroft, billionaire, owns 60% of the banking market. So, two projects that have the credibility and the legitimate agreements to move forward. And now here we have Portico just come and skip over what would be the two most credible projects. It begs the question, how did they get the EIA and Waterloo never get the EIA when Geg's project is dredging 1 million more than Waterloo? Why is it that Finstein Group, their causeway permit is being questioned by the government of Belize? When you listen to the Minister of Tourism yesterday on TV, he said that, oh, we have a cruise port emergency. the cruise ships need docking facilities that do not require tender. So you tell me, what proof does Portico have that they even have the money to get started with that facility? That facility requires building an artificial peninsula in a monetary reserve. So when you're denying one group for environmental concerns, when you said that you don't want anything to do with Vulcan because they don't belong in Gales Point, because all they're going to do is come and destroy our natural resources, how do you reach to Mr. Gegg? So again, it screams corruption.
After the break, the definitive agreement and its importance in cruise tourism. We'll tell you more on that, but first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Of the enforcement angle of it, I just don't see how they're able to make it work. I mean, is it possible in that aspect?
Well, we don't know yet. I mean, it's so early in. I mean, this is a 19-year commitment, and we're just at the beginning of it.
For all the Prime Minister's talk about blue bonds, conservation, and the sustainable development of our blue economy, he's allowing Portico to build an entire artificial peninsula and dock Oasis-class cruise ships just 8 miles north of a manatee reserve and in the middle of an important marine life corridor.
We've known that they use these areas along the coast.
How is Blue Economy Minister Andrew Perez allowing the wholesale extermination of our manatee population through his support of this project?
It didn't get the consideration that was given, that was needed.
Minister Perez, how are you going to square this away? The destruction of a protected species' natural environment does not seem in line with your published development policy.
It seems like there's a lot of pressure on Belize to get it right.
Sure, there is a lot of pressure on Belize. All eyes right now are on Belize.
And now, the hottest match of the evening. Get ready for action! Here they come. Amazing! They're unstoppable, unbeatable. They have him on the ropes. The heat rises to the top. 1, 2, and 3. They're on fire. Chiladas. Fire up the taste of Belize with the new Chiladas crunchy tortilla taco chips in its hot chili flavor. Fiery habanero brings the heat. They're on fire. Chiladas. From Snackers, done right, done here.
¿Sabías que el bolillo se ha jugado por 70 años en Belice? Eso es antes que mi mamá naciera. Eso demuestra lo fuertemente arraigado que es el bolillo en nuestra cultura y en nuestra vida cotidiana. Afortunadamente, nuestro gobierno devolvió recientemente la propiedad de Refugee Boledo a nosotros, el pueblo. Así que ahora, una entidad de propiedad pública, Belize Government Lottery Limited, tendrá la administración del Boledo. Y adivina qué, los beneficios destinarán al NHI y al Fondo Oficial de Calidad. Eso significa que aún más beliceños tendrán el acceso de la atención médica y otras ayudas que necesitan desesperadamente. Todo gracias a este cambio. No sé tú, pero a mí me encanta cómo suena eso. Nuestra diversión, nuestro beneficio y nuestro Boledo.
Tommy, the only you know, shot. I may think that a mighty Category 5 Benny's Belize Hurricane.
I just hear that name and I shudder.
Benny's Belize Hurricanes.
Ooh, do it again.
Hurricanes, hurricanes, hurricanes.
Hey, shut up!
This is what the entire basketball world and the Belize district have been waiting for. The grand finale. Game one of this much anticipated 5-game series is all going down this Thursday, June 15 at the Belize Civic Center. Beginning at 8:30 p.m. sharp. Take note. Featuring the #1 team in the land, going to their unprecedented 3rd straight finals. Benny's Belize Hurricanes. Their opponent, the BEBL's #4 seeded team, the San Pedro Tiger Sharks. In a battle of the little baby sharks is scared of the Hurricanes. It's gonna be ginormous and humongous when your 2-time semi-pro champions, Benny's Belize Hurricanes, led by Glency Cooper Lopez, Victor Vito Evans, Kirk Shabba Smith Jr., Chris Fraser, Jamel Harris, and the legend, Alex Carcamo, versus the 3-time semi-pro champion, San Pedro Tiger Sharks, who will answer with Francis Arana and Jihad Wright. The Hurricane Breeze will be kicking up a storm as we honor our legend, Alex the Legend Carcamo.
There's a natural mystic flowing through the air.
The halftime show will showcase the sizzling hot RT, dropping the Hurricanes anthem.
One team, one big family.
Plus mega cash, big screen TVs and cell phones from Benny's Cellular World and Smart. Remember this Thursday, June 15, 8:30 p.m. Belize Civic Center.
Hurricanes are one big family.
The after party will be at Thirsty Thursdays, sponsored.
Yo, respect the city, love the game. Family, Belize Hurricanes. Hurricanes are one big family.
Where is Minister of the Blue Economy Andrew Perez, now that Portico plans to build an artificial peninsula on Belize's coast, just a few miles north of a protected area? Where is Dolores Balderramos, area rep for Gales Point, when thousands of acres of mangroves will be cut down, millions of cubic feet of sediment will be dredged, and an entire artificial peninsula added to Belize? All this when they would not even allow Vulcan Mining to build a single dock. Where is Orlando Habet, Minister of Sustainable Development, when Portico plans to build an entire docking facility for Oasis-class cruise ships in a Manatee corridor? How is that sustainable, Minister?
In tonight's episode of the 5-Point Breakdown, we take a closer look at the definitive agreement, what it is, and whether or not the contract signed between Portico and the government of Belize is legally binding. We also ask whether the agreement can stand on its own, independent of Parliament. Here's News 5's Isani Cayetano with that story.
For several weeks, public discussion has centered around cruise tourism development and the dispute that has arisen out of a compact entered into by Portico Enterprises Limited and the government of Belize. Aside from a glaring spelling mistake, much is being made about the definitive agreement and the incidental consequences ever since that shocking document saw the light of day. But how is such a divisive contract important to advancing big business in Belize?
A definitive agreement is supposed to be a binding agreement between, in this case, the government and the private entity. But we must not forget that on its own, the definitive agreement is valueless, is worthless. What the definitive agreement does or is supposed to do is to commit the government to, on the basis of that definitive agreement, then go further and pass a law that would give effect to the definitive agreement.
That document includes all the important details of the deal, such as warranties, representations, and covenants, as well as any other essential provisions. A definitive agreement represents the final terms and conditions between two parties, and ensures that, in this case, Portico and GOB understand their rights and obligations as part of a strategic alliance.
in the definitive agreement, this particular definitive agreement, Mr. Contreras commits the government to passing a law that will give all these tax breaks, that will ensure that the recipient, the beneficiary of the definitive agreement won't have to get foreign exchange permissions, all sorts of things.
Outrageous government obligations, including tax relief in the form of allowable deductions, for example, business losses. The most divisive condition, however, requires government to ensure that no third party competing with Portico shall within a 25-mile radius be given any tax benefits or duty concessions for a period of 25 years from the commencement date. This includes State Bank and Port of Belize Limited. Both developments would fall within that area.
The previous government, from Prime Minister down to Attorney General down to Minister of Cabinet, minister that was in that Economic Development Ministry, is all saying that it was fraudulent. How do we get to a point where we're still even talking to Portico? If there is an emergency in the cruise port sector and we need to find a solution to docking that does not require tender, why aren't we looking at the Port of Belize and at the Finstein Group?
It's an interesting question raised by the leader of the opposition, who is quite vocal in his objection to the definitive agreement with Portico.
You have to really ask the developers and the financing organization, or the primary financing organization for State Bank, what is happening. The developers have said they are open 2021, 2022, 2023. I don't see it, but I hope they can prove me wrong. We have done everything possible as a government to ensure that State Bank can open for business. It is important, like I said, in the short to medium term, and even in the long term as we develop tourism here in Belize.
State Bank is at a virtual standstill. A recent tour around the island proves that little is being done to complete that project in a timely manner. By comparison, the accord between the government of Belize and State Bank Enterprises is typical for developments of this nature. There are exemptions under the Fiscal Incentives Act, including freedom from import duty, while the project is being constructed. Portico, on the other hand, is exempted from all customs and excise and revenue replacement duties, stamp duties, general sales tax, environmental taxes, income taxes, and the list goes on.
In particular, the tax breaks. No minister, no prime minister, and that's been litigated here in Belize as well, has any authority to give anybody any tax break except under a law that mandates that. So the commitment of a minister or of a government in a definitive agreement to do things like exempt the beneficiary of the agreement from paying taxes on its own means nothing. The government will have to pass a law, because no government can simply exempt anybody from existing taxes.
According to Minister of Tourism Anthony Mahler, the flagrant overreach in a definitive agreement has forced the principals of Portico to return to the drawing board.
The information that I'm getting right now is that they are going to be willing to renegotiate and start from scratch. You have Port of Magical that I truly, and I've said this to the principals, I truly didn't take it seriously, but they have gotten to a point that now I'm taking it seriously. I've spoken to Boscalis, I've spoken to Royal Caribbean, and they're dead serious about completing this project. And so we have to listen. I think cruise provides an opportunity for small operators and small vendors to be able to earn a decent living.
We know here, while there is no confirmation, that his Attorney General, who was leaving office at the end of the month, refused to give any opinion that the agreement was binding. That tells me that, in effect, if that is so, the Attorney General was saying it's not binding. And the Attorney General is a good lawyer, senior counsel, somebody who is skilled and knowledgeable. And so it wouldn't surprise me at all to hear that indeed she said this can't fly.
With all the legal controversy that Portico's definitive agreement has stirred, should Royal Caribbean proceed as a stakeholder in this investment?
My sense is this: because, and give Port of Belize and now Stake Bank their due, they have been so fierce, so unrelenting in pointing out all that was wrong with the way this definitive agreement first came into being, and with the way the new administration, at least the Prime Minister, sought to embrace it and make it his own, that a company such as Royal Caribbean, I understand it's US based, and subject to the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, some law in the US which would make clear that a company such as Royal Caribbean would have to be very, very careful indeed. Let me put it even more strongly, would need to stay away from any project that it appears is born out of corruption.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
When we return, keeping the Dare dance and the Maya culture alive.
Of the enforcement angle of it, I just don't see how they're able to make it work. I mean, is it possible in that aspect?
Well, we don't know yet. I mean, it's so early in. I mean, this is a 19-year commitment, and we're just at the beginning of it.
For all the Prime Minister's talk about blue bonds, conservation, and the sustainable development of our blue economy, he's allowing Portico to build an entire artificial peninsula and dock Oasis-class cruise ships just 8 miles north of a manatee reserve and in the middle of an important marine life corridor.
We've known that they use these areas along the coast.
How is Blue Economy Minister Andrew Perez allowing the wholesale extermination of our manatee population through his support of this project?
It didn't get the consideration that was given, that was needed.
Minister Perez, how are you going to square this away? The destruction of a protected species' natural environment does not seem in line with your published development policy.
It seems like there's a lot of pressure on Belize to get it right.
Sure, there is a lot of pressure on Belize. All eyes right now are on Belize.
Hola usuario de E-Kyash, la aplicación E-Kyash está disponible en español. Cambiar el idioma de tu aplicación de E-Kyash de inglés a español es rápido y sencillo. Déjame mostrarte cómo se hace. Primero, abre tu aplicación E-Kyash. Introduce tu PIN. Toca el icono More en la parte inferior de tu pantalla. Selecciona Security. Selecciona Language. Y luego selecciona Spanish. Vuelve a introducir tu PIN y ya está. Tu aplicación de E-Kyash está ahora en español y puedes seguir disfrutando de tu cartera digital E-Kyash. La aplicación E-Kyash de Belize Bank te hace la vida más fácil.
Where is Minister of the Blue Economy Andrew Perez, now that Portico plans to build an artificial peninsula on Belize's coast, just a few miles north of a protected area? Where is Dolores Balderramos, area rep for Gales Point, when thousands of acres of mangroves will be cut down, millions of cubic feet of sediment will be dredged, and an entire artificial peninsula added to Belize. All this when they would not even allow Vulcan Mining to build a single dock. Where is Orlando Habet, Minister of Sustainable Development, when Portico plans to build an entire docking facility for Oasis-class cruise ships in a Manatee corridor? How is that sustainable, Minister?
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
Based on current historical data, the Mayas are the earliest inhabitants of this hemisphere, preceding the time when Jesus walked the earth. But there is a determined need among them now to preserve their culture before it is lost forever. Towards that end, the Institute of Social and Cultural Research played a major part in helping to acquire cultural attire and the traditional marimba instrument for the Mayas of southern Belize. News 5's Marian Ali traveled to Toledo District to the Lubantun archaeological site in San Pedro, Colombia, where the traditional dare dance was on full display. It was part of a bigger effort to preserve what they say is a dying culture. And with the help of the Institute of Social and Cultural Research, the first steps towards doing that have been taken. Here's that report.
The colorful regalia worn, the burning of copal incense, and the cultural marimba performed at the Lubantun Archaeological Reserve in Toledo represents a conscious effort to preserve what is thought among the Mayas to be a dying tradition. The Institute of Social and Cultural Research and its director, Rolanda Kokom, played a key part in the event.
The idea of acquiring the dare dance attire and marimba originates from the interests of Maya leaders and communities' desire to conduct the dare dance as part of their traditional festivities and celebrations. Here too, like CEO Santos Neal, I must acknowledge the role of the past interim president of NICH, Ms. Merlin Young, who along with the Honorable Valderramos readily agreed that whatever the cost, it was important that the dare dance attire and marimba be jointly acquired as a national asset for the benefit of our Maya communities and people of Belize. At the Institute for Social and Cultural Research, part of our responsibility is to document and promote Belize's history and living heritage. We are confident that the 25 sets of dare dance attire and the marimba presented today will help us to fulfill this mandate.
The folkloric dare dance holds deep significance for these people who live in southern Belize. Today's display was organized by Basilio Teul.
When we started this dare dance, we started to borrow the costume from Guatemala in 2000, in the year 2000. 2001, 2002, 2003, we all continue to do it. But now it's 23 years we started this culture within our community. So that is why I'm very proud to share that it's not only Santa Cruz could meet it, but everybody could meet it.
If you look at the different people or the dancers, you have ones that look like the Europeans,
yes,
look like pirates, and the other set resembles, or once you look at the other set, it's mostly animals that we are familiar with. So what we observe here is that there are these people that came many years ago and come to the new world and look at all of this beauty. We are going to come. In my opinion, in some other people's opinion, it's an invasion that's taking over. So this is going to be a new homeland for them. And so when they came here, they find us. When they say they find us, they conquer us, and now we have to assimilate and inherit some of the values that they bring. Tradition must live on.
For Ernesto Saki, an elder of Santa Cruz Village, the Dare Dance represents part of his culture that has slowly been fading away.
I can recall when I was growing up, this dance was performed usually in the month of August and highlights the day or the event to the 25th of August.
What's the significance of that day?
The significance of the day, I believe, or the event, I believe, is the fact that the village of San Antonio, where I came from, believes that there should be an yearly event to recognize and to display our cultural heritage.
Now there is an effort by the Institute of Social and Cultural Research to help in that preservation. The initial investment exceeded $50,000.
We want to keep this culture alive within our Maya communities in the southern Belize. Not just in Santa Cruz, but everywhere where the Mayas, the Kekchi speakers and the Mupan speaker. So we are the Mayas, so we want this culture to be alive within our community and within our country, Belize. So that is very important for us. And it is not only for us as the Maya people, but it is for every ethnic groups that we have in this country.
As I understand it, there is more emphasis now. Okay, if you think your culture is very important, bring it out. Make it come forward, we will help you. So Niche is one of the organizations that I believe is saying, look, if you're serious and you want to do it, get it together, we will look at it and maybe we will help you to safeguard it. And I'm proud because as a Maya person, I know we can lose all of it. But the fact that there is that assistance coming in helping and assisting us, I believe that we can continue to promote it.
Taul says it is now for other Mayan communities to follow suit and hold more traditional events towards self-preservation. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.
Today is celebrated as World Refugees Day 2023. The day is being recognized under the theme Hope Away from Home, a world where refugees are always included. In honor of the day, the Refugees Department in the Ministry of Immigration held an event this morning in Belmopan to disseminate information on the process undertaken to apply for refugee status in Belize and the number of confirmed refugees in the country. The event was organized in hopes of demystifying some of the false notions that exist with respect to refugees in Belize. News 5's Paul Lopez reports.
Currently, only 220 individuals are living in Belize as confirmed refugees. Once categorized as asylum seekers, these individuals applied for refugee status through the Refugees Department and later obtained approval. On World Refugees Day, the Refugees Department in the Ministry of Immigration held a desensitization session in Belmopan.
During the early part of the 1980s, when there was a civil war in El Salvador, also in Honduras, also in Guatemala, and we had a number of people, a large flow of people coming in from these countries, running away from those civil wars. So in 1982, the government of Belize, with the help of UNHCR, established a community which you all are very familiar with, known as Valley of Peace. And the first 250 refugees settled there.
In 1991, Belize established its first Refugees Act. By 1993, Belize had approximately 9,000 recognized refugees. Those individuals have either already received permanent residency or returned to their country of origin. The 220 individuals in Belize that are currently living with a refugee status were confirmed between 2017 and 2022.
Our RSD application, known as our Refugee Status Determination, they shall apply after arrival to Belize, and it is sent to the Refugee Committee. Registration interviews are conducted by the registration officer. This is done to gather information relating to substantive elements of the refugee claim. Asylum seekers' refugee determination application are accepted by the registration officer. The registration officer issues an asylum claim submission slip or a stamp that must be renewed every 3 months until the application process is completed.
The process takes approximately 3 months to be completed. The applications are processed by an eligibility committee comprised of 10 members, including public officials and members of civil society. According to the department's data, the majority of asylum seekers applying for refugee status in Belize are from El Salvador.
We asked the question, does the applicant have a reasonable possibility that he or she would experience harm if that person returns to their country? This part of the legal analysis has what my colleague mentioned just prior to me coming up here, country of origin information. When we speak on country of origin information, this is in-depth research regarding that specific country that the applicant is coming from. So we look at reports that have been done on these countries, and these reports outline the conditions of these countries, what's happening there, and we also look a lot on statistics, meaning how many people are leaving these countries and the reasons why they're leaving these countries.
Contrary to popular views, not all asylum seekers are approved for refugee status. In fact, many are turned back following the rigorous vetting process. These individuals can either appeal the decision or enter another country to seek refuge, and the minister responsible for the immigration department gives the final confirmation.
The total number of current confirmed refugees in Belize is a total of 220, of which in 2017 there was 26 confirmed refugees. That backlog occurred between 2018, 2019, and 2020. So we have no confirmed refugees for those 3 years. In 2021, we had some confirmed 89 confirmed refugees. As Mrs. Segalena noted, in 2022, 250 asylum seekers applied. Of that 250, 73 individuals were confirmed. And in 2023, so far, we have 32 confirmed refugees for a total of 220. Looking more into the statistics, of that 220, we have 157 being from El Salvador, which represents 71%, 45 being from Honduras, which represents 21%, 14 being from Nicaragua, representing 6%, and 4 of the 220 being from Guatemala, representing 2%.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
The Ministry of Immigration is on its way to clearing the backlog of e-passports yet to be issued. The department ran into issues with supplies due to the sheer number of demands for e-passports over the last several months. More than 25,000 Belizeans have applied for their e-passports in the last 6 months. The supply of outstanding e-passports are now in country, says Gilroy Middleton, the chief executive officer at the Ministry of Immigration. But if you are seeking an appointment, you will have to choose a date after September because the next 4 months are already booked.
In the simplest sense, it is an economic issue. The demand outweighed the supply, and we requested additional supply back in December from the supplier Canadian Banknote. However, it takes time to bring all these materials together. Over the last month, we've received over like a year and a quarter supply of e-passports, and we've been printing, doing overtime, working on getting everything up to date. As of last week, we had cleared March, April, so we're looking at clearing May. So we're about 1 month behind, and we're looking at clearing it. The officers from Nationality and Passport Department have been doing an excellent job working overtime. We're trying to make sure that they're not burnt out, but we're clearing the backlog, and once we clear that backlog, we don't expect it to happen again. The suppliers have been informed. We're looking at the statistics, and in terms of getting a new supply, we're looking at making decisions based on data, and it's over 100% increase in demand. That was not anticipated, so we're looking at managing it from the data perspective. So we started off with 14,000. We went into 3,000 backlogs, so that would put us at 17,000, and then another 5,000. So we're looking at some 25,000 passports have already been processed in about a half a year, when in the 2 previous years, we were looking at 20,000 per year. In terms of the appointments, I'm informed that all appointments have been taken all the way up to September of this year. So we are looking at other mechanisms in terms of ensuring that customers have access to the service. We've initiated an email on our website for individuals that have emergencies, education, medical, business, Belizeans visiting home and would like to do a one-day appointment.
We also asked CEO Middleton for an update on the amnesty program. The timeline for applications to be submitted was officially closed in March. Middleton says more than 12,000 individuals have applied for amnesty.
Well, we're currently going through a detailed process. A major hurdle for us to cross is to do the security clearance for some 12,000 plus individuals. And this is a detailed security clearance. We're not only looking at international database. This is security forces, police going to your house, interviewing you, checking with your neighbors to make sure you said you are who you are, to ensure that all individuals that have applied, in the event that it is approved, that you have no security issues.
And about how long will that take to go through all those people?
The original estimate was 6 months, but we'll have to relook at that, where the police department is assisting us greatly. We're looking at getting equipment for them to go into the field in terms of tablets so they could input that data, but the initial estimate was 6 months, so that's what we're working with. In the simplest sense, as noted, our mandate is managing migration for the national security and the socioeconomic development of Belize. So this would be the national security aspect. Again, we're talking about refugees. All refugees application get security clearance. We've had issues where individuals were not cleared in terms of the security aspect. Immediately, those applications were not approved. So we have to make sure that we're getting the right people to come in and contribute to our economic development.
CEO Middleton also responded to questions on the concerning number of Jamaican and Haitian nationals that are using Belize as a transit point to the U.S. He was asked if any special policies are being developed for Jamaicans entering Belize, since Haitians are now required to present a visa at their point of entry. Here is what he told us.
There's no policy in terms of a special policy for Jamaicans. They're CARICOM nationals, so they would fall under the same policy of all CARICOM nationals. So in terms of Haitians, we reinstituted the visa requirement. No visa requirement was placed on Jamaicans, and no additional requirement or policies have been placed on Jamaicans.
Now I would imagine, since the discussion was raised, that this hasn't deterred these activities from continuing.
Well, what we're working on now is internal communications, communicating with the other security forces, communicating with the airline companies, even internal communications within the government, communicating with Ministry of Civil Aviation, which falls under Blue Economy, communicating with Ministry of Tourism and Diaspora Affairs, so that we are able to balance tourism, civil aviation, national security, and immigration. So we're information sharing, and also I just returned from a security briefing in Salvador on Tuesday. So also getting regional information and sharing our information in terms of what's happening here in Belize from a regional level.
Up next, Belizean troops return from military exercise in the United States.
Of the enforcement angle of it, I just don't see how they're able to make it work. I mean, is it possible in that aspect?
Well, we don't know yet. I mean, it's so early in. I mean, this is a 19-year commitment, and we're just at the beginning of it.
For all the Prime Minister's talk about blue bonds, conservation, and the sustainable development of our blue economy, he's allowing Portico to build an entire artificial peninsula and dock Oasis-class cruise ships just 8 miles north of a manatee reserve and in the middle of an important marine life corridor.
We've known that they use these areas along the coast.
How is Blue Economy Minister Andrew Perez allowing the wholesale extermination of our manatee population through his support of this project?
It didn't get the consideration that was given, that was needed.
Minister Perez, how are you going to square this away? The destruction of a protected species' natural environment does not seem in line with your published development policy.
It seems like there's a lot of pressure on Belize to get it right.
Sure, there is a lot of pressure on Belize. All eyes right now are on Belize.
My name is Wilmer De La Rosa from Santa Elena Town. I am currently a student at CAIO, set for employment training. Enrolled in the electrical installation program. In late July 2021, I got a confirmation that I was a successful applicant and would be granted a scholarship from Social Security Board. It was one of the proudest moments for me. I felt very excited to start this new path in my life. So far on my journey as a Social Security Board scholar, my vocational technical scholarship has assisted me in achieving my life goals in so many ways. For one, it has renewed sense of purpose, another chance at professional development, and a start at a new career. This opportunity has paved the way for me to excel in life as an individual and as a member of society. Great things are coming after I graduate from SET. I can promise you that. Applying for a vocational technical scholarship through the Social Security Board is simple and easy. I would advise young people in need to apply. It is possible to create a fulfilling and fruitful life with a Social Security scholarship. Believe in yourself and your abilities and skills. I always say the key is to always keep an open mind and let your determination be your motivation.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
Today, a cohort of 140-plus members of the Belize Defense Force and the Belize Coast Guard returned to the Jewel from 3 weeks of training in the United States. The delegation from Belize was part of 5,509 military personnel from the U.S. and partner nations that were engaged in the exercise. The training was about refining military skill sets on and off the field through real-world simulations. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
They departed Belize on May 24th en route to Louisiana to partake in 3 weeks of intensive training. Today, 144 men and women from the Belize Defense Force and the Belize Coast Guard returned home after a military exercise with the Louisiana National Guard's Infantry Brigade Combat Team.
So it's 65 Belize Defense Force regular soldiers, 35 volunteer soldiers, and 24 Coast Guard members returning back from the United States Joint Readiness Training Center, training with the Louisiana National Guard, doing small unit tactics and other training events. It was a 1-month training event. The first week was preparation, second and third week was actual training, and the fourth week was after action and final exercise.
While they work in the maritime domain, Ensign Arden Budner says that the skills learned will help to develop seamen and other members of the naval unit.
For us Coast Guard to transition from a maritime to infantry, it was a bit challenging at first. However, we adapt and we conquer. We did a lot of planning, organized planning, advanced planning, operational wise. And two, despite that it is infantry, we still apply infantry in our maritime domain. Whenever we work on island, whenever we set foot on ground, it's infantry tactics that we use. So everything that we use, we put it together and we become stronger together.
Well, every day the BDF trains to, first and foremost, defend the nation of Belize. We do patrolling in the jungles of Belize on the borders, and that training, that sort of training, develops soldier skills and enhances the soldier skills that they already have. So when they return back to their units and continue training here in Belize and the patrolling along the border, that training that they receive over there enhances the training that they already have, and they also learn new ways to do the same thing.
The training is conducted every 4 years and is the result of a military partnership between both Belize and the U.S. Major Josiah Rawlins, who welcomed the Belizean troops at the PGIA today, says that it is about strengthening interoperability, the standard operating procedures across all militaries.
It's the largest ever support force that Belize has ever provided. While it's been an ongoing, over 30-year relationship with the state partner, this one just is an example of the growing relationship that Louisiana Air National Guard and Belize has with one another. As far as the training goes specifically there, the Belize Defense Force and Belize Coast Guard enjoyed learning more about small unit tactics, as well as deployments, so how to mobilize a force, how to get a force off the ground and into another country, and what the logistics problems are and hurdles that go into that and come along with that.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Today, News 5 spoke with Caribbean Sprinters boat captain Christian Rivera, who has written to the Office of the Ombudsman seeking assistance in what he describes as unfair treatment by the Belize Port Authority. Rivera has been a boat captain for 30-plus years, but last Thursday, when he headed over to the Belize Port Authority office to renew his master license, the card was taken away from him, and he was told that it would not be renewed. He says that later that day, he was called to return for the license, only that it was still not renewed. Rivera says that he was later told that there is a summons that is pending for him from an incident that occurred back in May, which is essentially blocking the renewal. Rivera explained to News 5 how it got to this point.
I went to renew my license, my boat captain license, and for some reason, I don't know what are the issues if Port Authority has with this company or with any employer. My license was denied to me. They said I cannot renew it because for some reason they're saying that I have a summons that has not been issued to me. They haven't given me a call or anything. So I was going like a week ahead of time to renew it, and that was refused. Right here Friday, if that is not issued to me, well then I guess, that's...
Drive a boat.
Right, I won't be able to drive any vessel. I cannot get a job without my captain license. So I'm just trying to see what, I hope they can renew it for me as soon as possible.
What is the reason that they're giving you?
I can recall May 16, I was coming from my routine from San Pedro to Belize City. So on my arrival to Belize City, on the no-wake zone coming in from the tourist village into the harbor, the Port Authority approached me near the San Pedro Express company, So they told me that I need to stop to a dock, that I thought it was unfair to stop there for the safety of my passengers and for the engines and the boat itself. I told them I cannot stop somewhere that is not my destination. So they told me if I do not comply with them, they will give me a summons. I told them my terminal is only like 3 minutes away from where you guys want me to stop. So I told them I will just go to my terminal. If you guys need to do the random check, just do it there. It's safer for me to do it there. And then they approached me at our terminal, and then they just told me they need to get my license, my boat captain license. I gave it to them. They just took information from my license, and they just told me that I'm going to receive a summons, but I haven't received any call or anything at the moment. And so I guess that's the reason they don't want to renew my license.
Like a driver's license, Rivera's master license expires on his birthday, which is this Friday, June 16th. Time is running out for the career boat captain, who says that the non-renewal of the license threatens his livelihood.
Well, it's a big deal for me because without that license, I have been doing this job for the past 30, 35 years. So if I don't have a valid license, I cannot get a job anywhere else. And then not renewing that license, even at the company where I'm working, I won't be able to be driving boat until when, I don't know what's the further, down the line, they said further notice they will renew it, or maybe they will or not renew it. That's what I was told.
Have you reached out to maybe the ports commissioner? I understand you've contacted the ombudsman.
I went to the ombudsman office and I did give them a statement, and I'm trying to plead with them to see if they can work on the matter as soon as possible. I know the company, the directors on board, they said they are working on it also, but at the moment I haven't received any call from anyone that, you can go ahead and renew it.
And the Ports Authority haven't said anything?
No one has said anything at the moment.
Earlier today, Campbellsville University, a private Christian institution in Kentucky, recognized Mayor Sharon Palacio with a Leadership and Service Award. Mayor Palacio has been partnering with the university for the past decade in various initiatives that resulted in Belizean students attending the university. Through Mayor Palacio, students from Campbellsville have also had the opportunity to learn in Belize. A brief ceremony was held in Belmopan to honor the mayor.
Mayor Palacio has lived a life that has been pleasing to God in the way she uses her leadership. I often tell her, you're the mayor. You don't have to do all of this, but you do. In the United States, politicians don't act this way. I'm not even sure if they all do in Belize, but I know the mayor does. And I've said that to her so many times, and she always say, my brother, I'm just doing my part. And I acknowledge that because in doing your part, this is the Campbellsville University Leadership and Service Award. And this is the first time it's come out of this box. There are no fingerprints on it, so I'm going to be very careful not to leave mine. And here it is. So Mayor Palacio, would you please join me?
I must say that I feel so honored, and I thank God for this is the day that God has made. Personally, I had no idea that my friendship with Campbellsville would have resulted in today. When I met Campbellsville, the reason was my mother had just passed away. And in my mind, I had no reason to live. I wanted to die. That's the truth. And these two women, Dr. Hunley, who you saw there a while ago with Dr. Innis, they shared with me that no, I should never think about wanting to die, that the university needs me. So I told them that I needed a break. I needed to go somewhere. I needed a retreat. And before I could have counted 1, 2, 3, I was in Campbellsville. I spent a lot of time at that chapel. And around the university itself, there are captivating signs that resonates with one's feeling. I remember reading something there that a woman or a person is burned to achieve great things, providing that person has the strength to conquer him or herself. And that Everything I read really and truly did me justice, and I felt more and more the reason to live. Following that, Campbellsville became a household name in Belize. Almost everything they wanted, I ensured that I supported them.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, good night.